Good evening, everybody. My name is Drew White. I am the Director of Operations at Access LaPorte County. Welcome to the second of three candidate forums hosted by the League of Women Voters of LaPorte County and Access LaPorte County. I want to remind everybody that coming up next Wednesday night, we will be at the Long Beach Community Center. But tonight, Michigan City is center stage. I want to thank all of the candidates that are present tonight for Michigan City Mayor as well as City Council candidates. One thing I want to remind everybody is Vote 411 is an online voters guide hosted by the League of Women Voters, and I have been working very hard to get as much participation in vote411.org. It is a valuable resource not only for candidates but also for voters when they are looking for information on the candidates that they will be voting on coming this November. If any candidates out there have not received their information for Vote 411, please contact me at Access LaPorte County. You can find my number at, it's 219-861-3804. And I am doing my best to make sure that we get every candidate set up with Vote 411. Real quick, I want to give a quick shout out to my team that's here tonight, Anna Galloway, Kevin Harmon, and Andy Steele. And we have Lee Schelling back in the studio. With all of that, I want to thank you. These guys all work very hard to capture all of the meetings that you guys see on Channel 97 on our website at www.accessportcounty.org. And also I want to encourage people to visit our YouTube channel, which is where we are archiving all of our videos now. It is we've done our best to try and make it as user-friendly as possible, but we are going to be adjusting. We're going to be moving from our on-demand over to YouTube, where those videos will be there basically forever. All right, with all of that, I have talked enough. I want to turn it over to Ms. Bonnie Schaaf of the League of Women Voters.
Thank you very much, Drew. Good evening. My name is Bonnie Schaaf. I am the President and Voter Services Chair for the League of Women Voters of LaPorte County. And on behalf of the board and the membership of the League, we thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you to the candidates that are here and to the audience that's here and to the audience that will watch this later online. The League of Women Voters of LaPorte County is a nonpartisan organization. We are nonpartisan because we do not support or oppose any candidates or political parties. And that's on the national level. Every league is nonpartisan in that way. We do encourage informed and active participation in government. We study and advocate for public policies. We reach out to the public with presentations and civic educational programs. We engage voters through candidate forums, through voter registration, through and with our online voters guide, vote411.org. We welcome women and men who want to assure that democracy works for everyone. Be sure to check out our online voters guide, which Drew already mentioned. This on Vote 411, you can preview who is on your ballot, exactly what's on your ballot, and you can read the answers that the candidates have issued, have answered, and you can compare their answers like you would if you're shopping for something. You can, put their answers next to each other and compare them. If there are some candidates on your ballot who have not yet answered Vote 411, please encourage them to do so. It's a benefit to everyone to have those. And if you search, instead of putting in your address, if you search by state, you can actually go to the city or the county and look at the Vote 411 answers that all of the candidates, not just those on your ballot, And ours are limited now because for the municipal election, we're only going to be voting for our own ward, city council members and the at-large and the mayor candidates. So, but you can still read the other candidates' vote for 1-1 profiles too. There are several important election dates coming up. Voter registration ended yesterday and will begin again in December. But it's done. If you haven't registered already, I hope everybody here has. Sincerely hope that. If you haven't, you'll have to wait until December now, and you won't be able to vote next month. Today was the first day of early voting in LaPorte County, and we are fortunate to have 2 different sites for early voting, one in LaPorte, one in Michigan City. Many counties this year only have early voting available in their courthouses. There was a new law that came into effect in July that permits that, but our county election board decided to go ahead and really make it available because it is popular. So early voting is available in LaPorte at 209 State Street and in Michigan City at 302 West 8th Street, Monday through Friday, beginning today. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and then on 2 Saturdays, October 28th and November 4th, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. The mobile voting unit is, which not very many counties have, but we do. It is scheduled for every weekday from now until the day before Election Day, and they are taking the mobile voting unit to to assisted living, homes, nursing homes, but any place, apartment complexes, places where a lot of people are found, and very easy. You can step inside the van and vote and get it done for early voting. Also, as you know, we now have vote centers in LaPorte County beginning with this election. And if you can look at a list of all of the vote centers in the county. We have 20 of them for this election, and they are listed on the LaPorte County website on the election board page. But also, a much easier way to do it, I found, is that if you get online to Indiana Voters Portal, and there is a QR code linking directly to that on your program. So if you get onto that, you can check your registration. It's in.gov. You can check your registration, and hopefully they'll say you are registered. And as soon as they say that, they list all of the vote centers, and you can even have it listed by distance from your address. So I live here in Michigan City in a ward that does not have a vote center in it, and I was concerned about that. But when I looked at this, I saw that there are 3 vote centers within 2 miles of my address. So, so that sounds pretty good. So, but that's a good way to find out exactly where you can vote. And with vote centers, you can vote at any of them in the county. If you live in Long Beach, you can vote in Westville if you happen to be there on election day and you wish to do that. So that's one of the benefits of vote centers. So they are new, but they do have some advantages over precinct polling places. When you do go to vote, be sure to take your state-issued ID with you, or your passport or military ID with you to vote. And the early voting will end on noon on November 6th, I believe. Yeah, noon on November 6th. But you can vote early voting until then. If you do want to request an absentee ballot, you have to do so no later than October 26th, or else it will be too late to do it. So whatever you do, make a plan, decide how you're going to do it, and vote early or vote on election day. We have a lot of choices for where you can vote. Just be sure that you do vote. As an Indiana resident, your vote in municipal elections can shape the local laws, policies, and community initiatives that touch you most closely. That is why your voice through your vote is pivotal. By voting, you participate in the democratic process. The right to vote is the most enshrined right in the Constitution of the United States. It is protected by 5 separate amendments. Your vote counts. Voting is the way to make your voice heard. And now we want to thank all of the candidates who are here with us tonight. A few of them were unable to attend due to other commitments, but the rules for this forum are as follows. The moderator, it's me, and the screeners who are sitting here facing you will determine the order of presentation. Candidates will be given 2 minutes for an opening statement, 1 minute to answer each question from the audience, and 1 minute for closing remarks. In the interest of time, the number of questions for the candidate may be limited, and I already know that we have received dozens and dozens of questions, and we won't be able to ask all of them. We're very limited on that. And although probably some of them are duplicates, don't know. A candidate who is unopposed or whose opponent is not present will not be asked questions, but they can still give an opening statement to introduce themselves to you. The timer sitting in the front row will hold up a yellow card as a 15-second warning to the candidates and a red card when the candidate's time is up and they need to finish their statement or answer. And if all else fails, they will ring a bell. Nobody wants to hear the bell, I'm sure. Only written questions screened by the League's Voter Services Committee will be accepted. Press releases about this forum invited members of the public to submit written questions in advance by sending them to our email address, and we did receive a lot of questions, dozens of questions. But the League members have index cards and pencils. If you raise your hand, somebody will get you a card so you can write out your questions and then hand them back to that person. They'll get them up here to the screeners. The League expects courtesy to be shown to everyone. The League will not allow personal attacks, yelling, name-calling, or showing disrespect, and will interrupt or stop a candidate if needed while the clock is ticking. No outbursts or disruptions are allowed from the audience members, or they will be asked to leave. Please remember, this is a forum, not a debate. No visual aids will be permitted, and candidates may not display any campaign materials here tonight. Audience members, please submit your questions at any time. So the forum tonight is for municipal candidates running for the City of Michigan City offices, and we will begin with the candidates for Mayor of Michigan City. Candidates are Angie Nelson Deitch, Democratic candidate, Dwayne Perry, Republican candidate, and Mike Walker, Libertarian candidate, who could not be here tonight. So we will begin with the candidate's 2-minute opening statement. First, Angie Nelson Deitch, please.
Good evening. I'm seeking your vote as the next mayor of Michigan City. First, let me thank the League of Women Voters of LaPorte County for hosting the primary and the general election forums. I also thank you to the audience that's here and those watching on TV. We appreciate Access LaPorte County and the role that they play in making sure that the community is informed. I am uniquely qualified to lead Michigan City into the future. I am in my second term on the City Council. I have over 25 years of experience managing and leading high-performing teams at SBC Communications, which is now AT&T, NIPSCO, and now as a small business owner. My engineering background and master's in public affairs is important in the growth of Michigan City as a leader in Indiana. As your mayor, I will promise one thing, and that is to represent all residents and support businesses and nonprofits that provide jobs and services to all of our residents. What this means, in a nutshell, is that supporting and developing our municipal employees, capital improvement plans for our roads and sidewalks that have been neglected, neighborhood stability, that means garbage pickup, alley cleanups, home maintenance programs, and increase neighborhood associations with a little support from the city. We also are going to be focused on job training with partnerships with the unions, Ivy Tech, and Michigan City area schools. We know that we have our seasoned residents that we plan to support as well, making sure that they have access to health and wellness programs, safe and affordable housing options, as well as recreational program support for youth. And that is just a few to name. My background as a grant writer, the relationships across the state with federal and local officials will allow our team to go after funding needed for our neighborhoods, parks, and programs. So I would use all of that, as well as taxes from new developments coming into Michigan City, to pay for those programs. So I ask for your support on November 7th.
And Mr. Dwayne Perry, Republican candidate.
Thank you. Good evening. I am your Mayor, Dwayne Perry. Since becoming mayor, I and my administration turned a $3.4 million budgetary shortfall to a $5 million surplus. We championed $100 million of housing, led a committee allocating $16 million of COVID relief funds for such items as state-of-the-art crime-fighting technology, firefighting and rescue equipment, and city maintenance equipment, and $2 million for not-for-profit groups and small businesses. I've courted high-paying employers for jobs, reopened the Splash Pad water playground for Michigan City families, brought back Oktoberfest, and honored our veterans with new monuments at both of our cemeteries. All this in just 3 months. Not really. 3 months is the only time during my term that we didn't have to deal with COVID. The remaining 3.5 years is when I and my administration did all these things while making the tough decisions and setting policy that gave Michigan City the lowest infection rate in Northwest Indiana. What I have not done is cost you $550,000 plus legal fees, which you will pay. My opponent, in conjunction with the council as president, influenced that group to overrule our sanitary district's decision to install needed sewer service to Long Beach, which cost Michigan City nothing, but would have provided Michigan City over $30,000 of additional revenue every month. Seriously, what I've done as mayor is dedicate myself to serving you fairly and responsibly, with no other goal than to move the city forward into the future and provide a better life for you, wanting nothing more in return than to have the satisfaction of serving my hometown. This is why I ask you to re-elect me your mayor, because the job's not done until I finish what I've started and make the town truly Michigan City strong.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. And I meant to ask earlier, but please hold your applause until the end of the evening now because of the time restraints we're under. I need some more questions though too, please, from the screeners. And the first question, this is going to be for both of you, and we will begin with Dwayne Perry. With the huge changes on the horizon for our community, how will you ensure that we have the infrastructure and other needs to be sure that our community will benefit from these changes instead of lose out?
I didn't hear what you said. What kind of changes? With what?
With the huge changes on the horizon for our community, that's what they wrote.
I see. Well, we've been able to do a lot of that through the American Rescue Plan funding. We have annexed, took 426 acres out by the airport, which is fully funded, the materials ordered. The other 125 acres that we annexed already have those services. We will continue to collect property taxes and manage our money wisely. That's all we can do. We are limited in our revenues with the state property tax caps that are in place. It's a responsibility of the communities to manage their money, and that's what we will do. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Nelson Deitch, same question. With the huge changes on the horizon, I'm sorry, Ms. Nelson Deitch, With the huge changes on the horizon for our community, how will you ensure that we have the infrastructure and other needs to be sure that our community will benefit from these changes instead of lose out?
First, as the executive of the city, we should be spending time, number one, not missing out on grants. We've missed several cycles of the CCMG grant, which is for our roads and paving. But number two, we have a federal congressman that we have not sought out any money for infrastructure. He has provided those dollars to other communities in Northwest Indiana, and we have missed out. He's asked what those things are, and we can go get that money. There was a recompete grant that was available. There's all these funds that are available that our administration has not sought out or even gone after. And it doesn't require necessarily hiring a grant writer full-time. It requires us using Baker Tilly and some of those organizations to do that for us. So there is money available. We just have missed out on it.
Thank you. Next question, and we'll start with Angie, and then Dwayne will answer the same question. There's a concern for affordable housing in our community. There are many boarded-up housing units in the city. What is being done by the Housing Authority to repair and get apartments back in working order?
Well, I know for the last year the Housing Authority has gone through several changes, and I know that they're working through those, and I know that they just let go of their leader that they had there. So as far as the Housing Authority, HUD is a valuable resource for funding. They have huge grants that are available, but also we need to make sure that residents are ready for the housing that is coming. Affordable housing is a thing of the past when you talk about it from a perspective of low income. We have to build market rate homes and then put families into programs that allow them to get credits to get into those homes. So we don't want someone to be in a house that's less than their neighbor. We want everybody to have stable, nice homes that look the same no matter what neighborhood you live in, and that will require programs to get them in those homes.
Thank you. We are making plans to address the housing needs of the future. We currently have agreements that we are finalizing for apartments, townhouses, condominiums, row houses, and single-family units. The last single-family unit that was built in Michigan City was Village Green in 1955. We have already laid the groundwork to build a 106-unit complex out on the south end of town. Now, as a leader and as a government, it's our responsibility to provide housing for everyone. Through rezoning, I am going to approach for low-income people what's called tiny houses and boxed houses. Elon Musk lives in one. With proper zoning, when property is bought through property tax sales, this provides housing that is affordable and available to low-income people. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. The next question might be related to the last question, or the first question. While new developments in the north end of Michigan City will likely bring new wealth and resulting tax benefits to the city, what will you do for the rest of the city's residents to protect our city's history, culture, character, arts, and historical districts and downtowns so we don't lose those? And we'll begin with Angie, please.
Just to go back to the housing, sitting on the redevelopment commission, all of those projects that have been mentioned have come through our organization, go through our board, and it's important. But with the new development, new market tax credits and other credits that are available, we can use that money to build grocery stores. We can use that money to offset, build community centers. We can use that money to enhance the neighborhoods that exist in Michigan City. And right now, I don't think we've done that because this is the first time in over decades that we've had so many developments that are happening all at once. So with that added money, this will allow us to keep the tax base stable, Residents won't have to incur all those additional costs because that money now can be used to enhance the infrastructure that we currently have and build upon those things that we need on the east and west sides of town.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will use the tax credits, as my opponent mentioned, but also through zoning, you can control the building of houses and the cost of the developments. When I came into office, the first thing I did was I told my administration, the city was over $70 million in debt, all bond debt. I said, we are not going to do that anymore. We are going to require the developer to carry the bonds. Developer carried bonds. And as we sit here tonight, we are in the low 20 millions in debt. We paid it off, and all of our projects are going to be performed with developer-backed bonds. And as far as the cost of the projects and the cost to live there, we can control that through zoning. Thank you.
Thank you. And for the last questions, they are different questions for each of you. And we'll begin with Dwayne. Can you explain the legal dimensions of the Lakeshore Escalante problem, and is enough being done about it?
Well, we're doing everything that we can about the Esplanade area to protect it. This is a situation that began 75 to 100 years ago. There's always been an interest in Michigan City from outside sources, primarily Chicago. They bought those people bought areas up along the beach. They encroached on property lines, or in many cases with previous administrations, arrangements were made, contracts were signed, allowing them to go beyond their property lines and go out into the green area. We are currently applying for a quitclaim deed to establish legally what belongs to Michigan City. This may involve moving decks, it may involve modifying homes, but we are claiming that property back because that is the people of Michigan City's property.
Thank you. And final question for Angie Nelson-Deitch. What is your vision for a Michigan City without a state prison, and what partnerships and resources will you leverage to implement that vision?
So the future of Michigan City is going to look different. We have Michigan City, the prison closing, but we also have NIPSCO making some arrangements to shut down their plant. And the west side of Michigan City is going to look totally different from a housing perspective, a mixed-use perspective. I think the state and the federal government is spending a lot of money in Michigan City, and they want to see their dollars working. And to see someone driving in on the train, passing the prison, right there next to Mount Baldy, I think they would want us to have a thriving neighborhood. I see mixed-use housing, I see retail, maybe a community center, but all that is in the throes of Mount Baldy and at the shores of Lake Michigan with NIPSCO closing. So I think that at the beginning of the year, you'll see a steering committee formed that will be comprised of state officials and elected officials that are downstate, and also our congressmen will have to be involved in helping us get through that.
Okay. Thank you very much, both of you, for answering these questions tonight. And at this time, you can both give your 1-minute closing statement. We'll begin with Dwayne Perry, please.
A good mayor should be open and honorable, right? My opponent, Ms. Deitch, applied for copyright ownership of the slogan, Michigan City Strong. This phrase was created by Kevin Brown and Chris Shigelski to inspire us to fight and overcome COVID-19, to stay physically and mentally healthy during the pandemic. This phrase doesn't belong to Ms. Deitch. It doesn't belong to me. It belongs to each and every one of you, everyone in Michigan City. Ms. Deitch's attempt to own and control our battle cry, Michigan City Strong, is inconceivable. It's horrifically deceptive, inappropriate, and self-serving. I'm lost why she would do such a thing. Is a person who thinks and acts like this, who holds these values, the right person to lead Michigan City? Please re-elect me your mayor November 7th, allowing me to finish the job. We must always be united and be Michigan City strong. Thank you.
Yes. In closing, we are running a campaign not based on negativity and Michigan City Strong. And the reason why that was actually copyrighted so that going into the future, we can build a stronger community, stronger businesses, stronger nonprofits, but also utilize those funds to put anything that is sold into a fund to support neighborhood organizations and programs. Has nothing to do with me owning it, but it has everything to do with us supporting financially nonprofits, neighborhood organizations moving forward. Our campaign is about the people and how we're going to work to make sure that people have livable wage jobs, that high school and college graduates have options to live, work, and play here. And we also want to make sure our seasoned residents have health and wellness options. We want an empathetic leader, and that is me, who respects the office of mayor and will not bring shame to the city of Michigan City. I vow to work with the residents, city council, businesses, and nonprofits on creating a vibrant Michigan City. Early voting has started, and I humbly ask for your vote, and we are Michigan City Strong.
And thank you to both of our candidates for coming here tonight. And you may now be seated in the audience. And first, second, third, and fourth ward candidates can please come up here. Greg and Rodney, Roger are the first. These three are unopposed. It's here. It might be inside. And Roger. Yes, those yes, I don't think anyway. We can see. Oh, they can look this way, but they'll have to walk that way. Okay, Did Georgetta, did Joseph Nelson come tonight or Sean Fitzpatrick? Yes, but then the only other two people that are here are Nancy and so if you No, they didn't. They didn't? Okay. Well, then we could, and John Haynes, Georgetta, John Haynes. Okay. Well, then we could have Nancy and they're opposing each other.
Socrates and Nancy, if you guys could come up as well.
That's safe. That's safe.
Nancy? Yeah, she's coming around. She's coming around. Okay, thank you.
He didn't sign it.
And then the other will be the application. Okay, ready? Next, we are welcoming the city council candidates for first, second, and sixth ward. No one could be here tonight. Third and fourth ward opponents are unopposed, and the fifth ward is opposed, and both of them sent their regrets that they couldn't be here. So we have, we'll begin with the opening statements from the three city council candidates for the first ward, and that is going alphabetically by their last name: Greg Coulter, Democratic candidate; Rodney McCormick Sr., Independent candidate; and Roger Willoughby, Republican candidate. And we'll begin with Greg Coulter. Your 2-minute opening statement, please.
I'm Greg Coulter, and I'm here to ask for your vote to be the next First Ward City Councilor. First, I'm going to tell you a bit about myself, and then a bit about my values and my vision for Michigan City. So my family has been living in Westville for 7 generations, and I grew up on the family farm, and I'm a hard worker. I moved around in my 20s to get some career and career and education experience. I received a bachelor's degree from Ball State, a master's degree from Concordia University in Montreal, and a master's degree in library science from Syracuse University. I'm currently a historian working on projects that tell the story of Hoosiers living on the lake. I'm a people person who puts people first. It's just simply what I do. Michigan City is our home, and everybody plays a role in shaping its future. Young people, businesses, families, and older residents. They all deserve a city council that works together to deliver solutions to our problems in our daily lives. As your city councilor, I will ensure that our youth see their future here in Michigan City by filling in our vacant and abandoned homes with affordable starter homes. I'm going to make sure that our first responders are fully equipped to keep us safe. I'm going to make sure that everybody is able to make it to work reliably and on time by having expanded childcare services and enhanced public transportation. But more than anything, I want to make sure that we empower our community organizations and that they have the resources they need to work with City Hall and educate our communities. I'm Greg Coulter, and I ask for you to vote for me on November 7th. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Mr. McCormick.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming out. Oh, I'm sorry. I should be used to this, but anyway, my name is Rodney McCormick. I live at 617 Union Street, Michigan City. I've lived here all of my life. I lived in the First Ward for 51 years now. I'm the president of the Michigan City Housing Authority, Social Status for African American Males. I'm also on the Community Correction Advisory Board, and I'm also in the Urban Enterprise Zone as well. I've also volunteered 25 years of my life to youth at the Martin Luther King Center here in Michigan City. I'm running as an independent because I've been a Democrat for 38 years. I haven't changed. I just don't want to be a part of the LaPorte County Democratic Party as it's set from the last administration to this administration. A lot of us get left out of the left out of the politics We have to ask for permission to run for office, do things that we just don't like. Being independent is simple. I serve the public. I don't serve a party. I'm going to do everything in my power, to make sure that I serve you with integrity and being honest and truthful with everything I do. I've done a lot of things in the city, from getting street lights up to getting roads paved to fighting for higher wages for city workers. And I'm going to continue to do those things. I will never sign any legislation that will take away from union workers. That won't happen with me. I will not do that. I am also not for any policy that will take away workers with construction companies that will not hire African American nor women. Those days have to change. We have to think open-minded now. It's time to just vote for a person and not a party. I greatly appreciate it if you vote for me on November 7th. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Willoughby.
Good evening. My name is Roger Willoughby. I reside at 401 East 7th Street, Michigan City, Indiana. I've been a resident of Michigan City for just over 30 years. I'm not a native of Michigan City. I've been very critical since I moved here of the city spend. Since day one, since I moved here. I'm not emotional to this politics. I want to sit at the table as a taxpayer and as a Republican. Michigan City needs a balance on the city council. If you listen to the mayor, you listen to Angie, you talk about grants here, grants there, this grant not going to affect my taxes, we have plenty of money, we don't need a grant writer. I'm here as a taxpayer and a voice for balance on the city council. That is my focus. I'm not afraid to say I'm a Republican. I said it at the Elson Grove meeting. There's plenty of money. We just have to watch how we're spending it. The biggest thing that bothers me is we still cannot wean ourselves off blue chip money. That's almost 20 years. That's a problem. We have to control what's going to happen in Michigan City through better zoning, and we just need a constant standard. This needle moves all over the place with the city. Think about it. I can't promise you anything, but I promise you I will dig into the money. I promise you that. My name is Roger Willoughby. I live at 401 East 7th Street. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we will have a question for each of you. Okay. Well, we'll begin with a question for Rodney McCormick. Explain to us why you are the best candidate to handle the fiscal and legislative issues and the business of the city of which the Common Council members are involved.
I believe I'm the best candidate. Forgive me. I believe that I'm the best candidate because I serve on several boards where we have a budget over $4 million, another budget that's over $26 million. I've done this before. I'm a president on several boards. My colleagues put me into the position to make sure that I guide us in the right direction. I have worked with city workers, this mayor's office. I've worked with the building inspector's office, street department, refuge. I work with them all. I know what it takes and what they need. And communication is key. And if we can communicate, we can change a lot of things, and I'm the best person for that job for that reason, communication. Thank you.
Thank you. And for a question for Greg Coulter, do you support the rental registry ordinance that is up for third reading at next Wednesday's council meeting?
So the legislation, as I understand it, has been redone since most people have become familiar with it. I'm more familiar with Dahlia's legislation. I'm interested to hear more about the legislation submitted by Councilman Dabney. But that's been tabled, and I'm excited to go to some workshops for it. So until I know more about it, I don't have an answer to that question.
Okay, thank you. And a question for Roger Willoughby. How do you plan to attract, recruit, and retain new police and fire personnel?
That's a great question. I think as the city grows and it changes, there will be more opportunity for police to view it. Police and fire is a very complex issue. It's a hot topic for Michigan City, Indiana, to be blunt about it. I'm the type of person, I was in the military. We're becoming so focused on the job doesn't pay this, the job doesn't pay that. They know what the job pays when they come here. So that's a very tough subject for me to say what I need to do and to entice somebody to come here. I really believe we're starting to feed on ourselves over money, and it's a constant balance here. And believe me, I don't know how the police do what they do. Most of the guys I know have retired since I've lived here. And I do believe 100% they do deserve more money, but we have to come up with different ways to give them more money instead of just the tax base.
Okay, thank you very much. And now we'll ask for 1-minute closing statements from each of the candidates for City Council for the 1st Ward. And we will begin with Roger Willoughby.
I'm kind of the odd man out here because I'm not born and raised in Michigan City. That might scare a lot of people, but it shouldn't. I see the struggles every day of Michigan City. I remember where I lived, it was going to be the quote-unquote golden triangle. I remember study after study after study. The feeding frenzy has begun only because Double Track made the commitment to Michigan City, Indiana. It's nothing any politician has done in this town to make that change. Everybody who's a taxpayer should understand that. I'm not looking for credit. I'm looking to be a voice to say, can we do it this way, or how about this way? Because we don't have that on our existing city council. We can go right, we can go left. I think if we can meet in the center, the city will be a better place to live. Thank you.
Thank you. And Rodney McCormick.
To be honest with you guys, I'm fighting an uphill battle. Our city has been stuck on voting straight Democrat for years. If you look out of your doors and look at your alleyways, look at the streets, look at the city, we've been heading in the wrong direction for quite a while. It's basically most of our fault because we continue to vote straight Democrat instead of voting for an individual. It's time to stop doing that. My mother, Ernestine Bernard, ran Head Start. She was the executive director for 50 years. She taught us a valuable lesson at an early age that it's better to give than receive. Care for your fellow man, your fellow woman. Do what's right. Sometimes I fall short on that part, but things have changed in my life, and we can do better. My kids, I have 2 of them here today. It's very important for me to win this race. I want my kids to see that you can be whoever you want to be, and you can have a chance to do what you have to do. And this is why I'm up here running today. This is too important to play games with. It's more than just being cool. It's something that needs to be done in our community. The first ward needs me, and I need the first ward. Please vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Greg Coulter.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight. It's important to have these opportunities to talk directly to voters and to win their support. Over the last few years that I've been back in Michigan City, I've received hundreds of thousands of dollars that have, for our nonprofits here in Michigan City. I've also served on the Human Rights Commission and the Historical Preservation Commission, and I use every opportunity I have to learn how to do a better job every day in those positions, and I'll do the same when I'm your city councilor. You can learn more about me by visiting my website, cultureforcitycouncil.com. The Facebook link is on there too, and it's also got a phone number for people to reach me as well as an email address. I'd love to hear from more people. I'm a great listener, and that's a skill that I believe I have more than the other candidates running for the first ward. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here tonight. And we'll continue now with Daisy Lee, the Democratic candidate for 2nd Ward City Council. Her opponent, John Haynes, is not here tonight. And so we will ask for a 2-minute opening statement from Daisy, and you won't be getting any questions though since your opponent isn't here. So, Daisy Lee.
Good evening. I'm Daisy Lee, and I'm running for City Council to represent the 2nd Ward. Thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting this event, and thank you all for showing up and showing your interest in city government. I believe that's one of the things that makes this city great. As an educator, I've been teaching 7th and 8th grade environmental science and STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math, and coaching 8th grade volleyball for 10 years in Michigan City area schools. I believe in teaching children about academics, but I also believe that it's important to help children actively engage in their community. Whether it's helping raise my students' voices to implement a recycling project with the Michigan City Parks Department, introducing recycling bins in our local parks, or raising $35,000 for our school, winning national titles with the PepsiCo Recycle Rally, or creating a care closet at both Barker and Krieger Middle Schools, providing clothing, shoes, and personal hygiene products to those students who need it, I'm an agent of creating positive change. I'm a community organizer with experience locally with different nonprofits and serving on the Michigan City Sustainability Commission to help address the impacts of climate change in our community. I served on the Michigan City Area Schools Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee for its entirety. I created an after-school diversity club for my students to have a safe place for themselves and learn about others. And I have experience internationally helping develop a rural community in Panama while serving in the United States Peace Corps. Many of the concerns my fellow residents in the 2nd Ward have are issues that I'm passionate about helping change. They're concerned about violent crime. As a collective community ourselves, we need to create more opportunities for our kids to work together in our community, for the community, to have more safe, positive places to socialize after school, play sports, and pursue other interests like music and art. More communication. We need to ensure that we're keeping people informed and providing them with easy access to contact city government and to be able to provide feedback and input. And education. We need to ensure both adults and kids have access to great educational opportunities, including job training. And affordable housing. We need to ensure we provide programming for residents to have safe, stable, and comfortable housing. My dedication, passion, and history for action make me the best person to represent the 2nd Ward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, and now we'll move on to candidates for the 6th Ward City Council, and that is Republican candidate Socrates Gray and Democratic candidate Nancy Moldenauer. And we'll begin with a 2-minute opening statement from Nancy Moldenauer.
Heartfelt thanks to the League of Women Voters, ALCO candidates, and especially you, our residents. We all breathe the same air, drink the same water, and walk on the same land. This we all have in common. These are our uniters. Closing of the NIPSCO coal burning power plant requires someone familiar with its operations and property to serve on this Michigan City Council. Reporting higher rates of asthma, cancer, and other illnesses within our community requires someone familiar with healthcare and environmental justice to serve on this City Council. Protecting the quality of our drinking, bathing, swimming, and fishing water requires someone who's committed to working in collaboration with local, state, and federal coalitions to serve on this Michigan City Council. Desiring to keep our children and grandchildren living within our community with job and career opportunities, plus a growing economy in renewable energy and advanced technologies with training and certification programs like the NAACP and Michigan City Sustainability Commission initiated. Soul Power requires its contributor to serve on this Michigan City Council. Creating affordable homes for middle and lower income households through partnership with the Michigan City Economic Development Corporation requires support for Plan 2024 projects to serve on this Michigan City Council. Being in action to claim hundreds of thousands of dollars annually from our state and federal governments, which could multiply the effectiveness of our riverboat and general operating funds, demands a knowledgeable public servant who has secured grants to serve on this Michigan City Council. Envisioning health, well-being, and quality of life for everyone requires someone who's dedicated and experienced to serve on this Michigan City Council. I am that council person. Please vote for me for Ward 6. Encourage Ward 6 voters to elect me. Learn more from me at www.nancymodenhauer.com. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Socrates Gray?
I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight, and I'm Socrates Gray. I grew up on the Sheridan Beach area. I live in the 6th Ward now, and my concern is for the 6th Ward. The people of the 6th Ward have been described as living in an industrial park area. Well, that's something that does not need to exist. We need to be able to help the people in the 6th Ward be able to have transportation needs, getting jobs that they need to get to. We're going to build all these complexes, and they have to have the way to get there. Right now, they're just abandoned out there. There's no concern about the 6th Ward. My concern is to help the people of the 6th Ward, to make them better people. As they say, a true leader doesn't create separation. A true leader brings people together. I want to bring people together at the 6th Ward, bring them into the community, give them access to all the things they deserve to have access to. We have people in the 6th Ward that can't get groceries. We have people that can't access doctor appointment. We have a triangle that's created to be able to go to LaPorte. There's things you can't do at this courthouse that you have to go to LaPorte to. How do they get there? They can't get there. They have to find their way to get there. There's a lot of properties that the city owns out there in the 6th Ward that can be turned over to vegetation for gardens and all those other things. I hope that I can get your vote. I am here for the city. I'm also the Michigan City Port Authority president. I am the one that actually had the lights relit on the catwalk. So that's one of the accomplishments that I have done. I go get things done. I'm a problem solver. I don't look for the answer of no, you can't do that. I look for the reason why we can do that. That's what I'm here for. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we have a question for each of you to begin with. They're different questions. And we'll begin with Socrates. What plan of action will you take on working to solve the overwhelming problem of our young people, specifically the African American males, to help them obtain growth mindsets? Is there a plan of action to build community centers or organizations to implement age-related developmental milestone activities in this city instead of building a $1 billion new prison after the old one is torn down? What is your plan for our youth?
That's a rather complex question. I don't have enough time to answer all that. The main thing is that it starts at home, and we have to support people at their homes. And the way we support people at their homes is being them able to get out and be able to bring their children into different environments, be able to go to these study groups, and be able to go to these training centers. We have A.K. Smith Center that is one of the best centers in the United States, and yet we don't find ways to get youth in there. But they have evening programs that we do not get people to because they don't have access to it. We have to have better transportation for young people to be able to get to these things. So that's all I have to say about that.
Thank you. And for Nancy Moldenhauer, how would you pay for expanding bus service to Tall Timbers and Green Acres on Highway 212, which I guess are in the 6th Ward?
Right, a very excellent question, actually. Bus service is expensive. It requires the vehicles and also the personnel to be able to run it. And simply moving funds from like road repair or pothole filling to bus service doesn't really solve the problem. I have a vision of actually replacing our fleet with electric vehicles, and that's going to reduce the cost of fuel. In other words, we're not going to be spending so many thousands of dollars on diesel fuel. Also, diesel buses are extremely expensive to maintain. Electric vehicles really only require the upkeep of brake repair and also rotor changing and things like that. So that's going to save the city a tremendous amount of money in transit, which means we should be able to transfer those funds to personnel, actually hiring drivers to get those buses there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now for closing statements, 1 minute closing statement, we'll begin with Socrates Gray.
First, I want to say thank you again for having me here and listening to me. I'm not a public speaker, as you can tell, but my main concern is I love the city. I've lived many places. I came back to the city in 2012 and realized that there's a lot of things that people get looked over. And I don't want people to be looked over anymore. I want people to come together and be looked at as a solid citizen of Michigan City. There's too many concerns and too much grandeur of other things that we want to do, but we want to leave the people behind. We need the 6th Ward to come along with everybody else in the city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Nancy Moldenauer.
I returned to Michigan City in 1999, and it's because I love this place so much, and I really do like the 6th Ward, and that's why I decided to run for City Council. I have a broad view of what's possible for this community, having lived outside of the community, and I think that's really important. I don't have tunnel vision. Also, I served on the Michigan City Sustainability Commission and the Human Rights Commission. On the Human Rights Commission, actually updated 23 ordinances to be sure we included protection for all vulnerable people, including elders, the differently abled, and veterans. On the Michigan City Sustainability Commission, I acquired Soul Smart Silver designation, and that means our community is solar friendly and ready. You can learn more about me at www.nancymoldenauer.com, probably more than you would ever want to know. But I've accomplished a lot. I've succeeded in this community, and my heart and soul is with you as residents of Michigan City. So please vote for me for Ward 6. Encourage Ward 6 voters to elect me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And please give a hand to all of us. And now if the 6 candidates for at-large city council could please come up here.
Someone's got to stick around and water.
Over there on that side.
Is that something? Yeah? It doesn't take long. Yes, exactly.
Start over here. And now we will move on to the at-large candidates for Michigan City Common Council. And voters all over the city get to vote for at-large, and you will vote for and elect 3 of the 6 people that are up here. So thank you all 6 candidates, and it's great to have all 6 of you here. Get a clear picture of who we have to choose from. And we will begin with the 2-minute opening statements, and we're going alphabetically by last name, if you've noticed that. And we will begin with Elizabeth Bergeron.
Thank you everyone for coming, and thank you for the league for hosting this forum. My name is Liz Bergeron. Liz is easier to say than Elizabeth, much shorter. I've been a resident of Michigan City for over 10 years. I moved here in 2003 to work at Indiana State Prison. I worked there for over 6 years, serving 2 of those 6 years on the hostage negotiation team. While living in Michigan City, I met my wonderful husband, Dion, and together we have 5 kids. They are aged 27 to 16. I am a proud Union daughter, granddaughter, sibling, and a proud Michigan City resident. I'm running for this position because I want to represent all of Michigan City and not just my 6th ward. I'm uniquely qualified because I can serve the city in a way that no other candidate can. I work in social services as a Medicaid waiver case manager. I work with individuals who have intellectual and developmental disabilities and their families to make sure they get the services and the resources that they need and they can live their best life. It is my passion, my calling, and something that I feel gives my life meaning. Like I said, I was a correctional officer for 6 years. I worked in the financial world as well. I worked with Fortune 500 companies managing their budgets for workers' compensation and insurances, ranging from thousands of dollars to literally millions of dollars. I've built teams and supervised data collection sites for Apple in cities like Chicago, Cleveland, and Detroit, and the Bay Area. I know how to work with others, and I know how to get things done. I can work with others even when we disagree, because there's always a common goal, and that common goal is for the betterment of Michigan City. We have a historic event happening, which is the movement of Indiana State Prison, something many of us thought would never happen. I'm the only candidate who understands what that project means, how it will impact the city, the families of those who live there, and how to make sure Michigan City can get it done right and safely. I want to make Michigan City stronger, successful, and safer. I ask for your vote in November. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And our next candidate is Bryant Dabney.
All right. Hello, my name is Bryant Dabney. I'm a current 1st Ward Councilman, now running for at-large. I was born and raised here in Michigan City, from Eastport Elementary to Krieger Junior High to Elston High School, off to the University of Notre Dame, where I attained a degree in finance, and then back to Michigan City to work numerous jobs here in the area. Years later, I went on to attain an MBA, Master's of Business Administration, and still back to Michigan City. I thought, for me, the best talk about my qualifications was to talk about the things that I've already accomplished. So I'm going to have a few accomplishments that I've had in my 2 terms here as a councilman. Number 1, I served as Vice President of the Council and Chair of the Finance Committee for 4 years. I was the initial council member to collaborate with the Chief of Police, that would be Dion Campbell at the time, to implement our flock safety system. I am the only councilman that was appointed with the 2 different mayors here with committees to start the Promise Scholarship, the Double Track Project, the new train station developer selection, and the American Rescue Plan Appropriation Committee, which we were responsible for about $16.3 million. I led the fight for the city workers to receive fair wages based on a professional salary study that was paid for by the city. I conducted a public input session teaching residents to apply for home improvement grants. That was the Community Development Block Program, and these are designed and were initially set up to help the Eastport and the West Side neighborhoods. I created a Dress for Success program, helping Michigan City college graduates and other workers to go out and attain clothing to wear to work or to interview in. I implemented a purchase order procurement system, strengthening our riverboat spending rules, allowing the council and our department heads to follow their riverboat spending in a more simpler fashion. I was the creator and organizer of the Eastport neighborhood cleanup event, I was the creator and organizer of the Eastport Neighborhood Property of the Month contest. I was the original founding member of the Eastport Neighborhood Community Garden. And I see I have stopped and I have a couple more to go. And I will get a chance to put those in later.
Thank you. And Dr. Cora.
Good evening. I'm Vijay Cora, and I want to thank the League for organizing this event, and thank you all for coming and listening to all of us. I'm running for City Council at large, and I wanted to share my vision about our city's future and why I feel I'm well qualified to lead us forward. As a resident of Michigan City for 37 years, I understand the unique challenges and opportunities that our city faces. My experience as a member of the school board, as a member of the county commission, as a county coroner, and various nonprofits that I've been part of, has taught me the importance of collaboration and building consensus to achieve our goals. As your city councilor, I bring this spirit of cooperation to the table, ensuring that every voice is heard and considered. My top priority as a councilor will be safety and security. Without safety and security, there is no community. And the next important priority is economic growth and economic opportunities. And we need to create these economic opportunities in a balanced way, that way we can attract new businesses to our city while supporting the growth of existing businesses. This means we have to create a business-friendly environment that incentivizes companies to invest in our community while ensuring that our city remains affordable and accessible to all. One area where we can spur economic growth is by proper implementation of our double tracking project. I really believe that Michigan City is at a cusp. We are really at a cusp of great things happening here because of many things that have been discussed: the double tracking, the moving of the prison, the removal of the closure of the NIPSCO plant. All of these are great opportunities, and I'll continue this conversation during questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And next, Ian Osborne.
It looks like I'm the only one. It looks like I may be the only one that didn't bring notes. My name is Ian Osborne. I'm born and raised here in Michigan City, and I came today to offer a flower to all the candidates as an olive branch. There's something that I noticed that's not happening in Michigan City, and it's balanced development. I have a history of economic development as well as community development, and there's a difference between community development and economic development. Community development can create economic development, but what I've noticed is that my wife is she has flowers in the garden, and I plant food. These are tangible assets, things that benefit our family, that feed our family. Whereas my wife likes the things that beautify it. And this is an example of one of the simple things that I believe that we're kind of overlooking in our community. For instance, like the lights on the lighthouse, or porta potties downtown for the homeless. You know, simple gestures, simple things that can make our city a better place. We all want economic development. We all want the city to grow. While at the same time, I've noticed that there's a lot of funds. This is what got me into this. I came to the mayor's office. Not important who was the mayor. What was important is that I felt a little upset that there was things that I saw that were costing me money as a real estate investor and a real estate developer in Michigan City and a builder, things that were inhibiting me. And I also had some ideas, and I brought some of these ideas to the table. And that's what I do. I'm an idea guy. I've been in business and product development, consulting, and people pay me to come up with good ideas. If I'm not the smartest man in the room, people pay me to find the smartest people in the room. And I plan on working with anybody who's at the table. I don't care what party they are. I'm not into party politics. That R doesn't mean anything for me. Thank you.
Thank you. And Don Kripolinski.
Welcome, Michigan City residents, and thanks to the League of Women Voters for hosting tonight's forum. I'm Michigan City Councilman at Large, Don Kripolinski, asking for your vote for re-election. I was born and raised in Michigan City, graduated from Elson High School, and I'm a graduate of Manchester College with a degree in Business Administration and Economics. I'm married to my wonderful wife, Jenny, for 39 years, who's here tonight. We have 2 grown children and a grandson, Riley. My employment career consisted of 36 years of being employed by United States Steel in Gary, specializing in logistics and environmental management. Since first elected, I have held the following leadership positions on the council: President, Vice President, Chairman of the Finance Committee, Chairman of the Labor Relations Committee, and President of the LaPorte County Solid Waste District. If re-elected, my objectives are: top priority, as always, is safety to the community. I will continue to support the police, fire departments, both financially and with the best equipment possible. And I've always voted for public safety initiatives and then supported the lit tax. I support city employees with the best wages and equipment affordable. Quality of life, I will investigate new housing options and support job and business expansion. And I will be a champion for citizens of Michigan City and their concerns. I will be advocating to the mayor for a grant writer and a Parks Recreation Director. And I will continue to lead the task of completing the Feathers Alley all-inclusive playground and fitness center while recommending improvements to the entire park system. And finally, the main responsibility of the council is being the fiscal steward of the city budget. I will assure you that the 2024 $70 million budget that was just passed will be properly spent. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Jason Stratton.
Good evening. My name is Jason Stratton.
Microphone, please.
No, turn your mic.
Good evening. My name is Jason Stratton. I'm probably the only person here who hasn't been here for a particularly long time. I've only lived here about 5 years. My address is 902 Pine Street here in Michigan City, and I'm new to politics as well. I have not held any prior office or anything like that. And the reason why I would like to hold office here is because I love the city. I've only been here a short time, and I care what happens in the city. And one of my one of the causes which means a lot to me is as a small business owner in the building trades, one of the initiatives that I would like to have a hand in is I would like to see some type of organization in which I would like to partake, which would involve mentoring and outreach to the community related to people becoming further, young people in particular, becoming further educated in the building trades, as well as incentivizing small businesses and things of that nature. And one of the reasons why I also moved here is because I also take an active interest in the local culture and history, and one of the things I admired the most when I came here was the vintage architecture and things like that, and I don't want to see any of these things lost. And as a working man, I'm very interested in the interests of working people. And one thing I would also like to say also is, as an owner of a small business, I understand balanced budgets. And
Thank you very much. And now I have one question for each of you. They are all different questions, and we're going alphabetically by first name this time. So for Bryant Dabney, in 2015, the Indiana General Assembly established a funding mechanism which would 100% pay for the street and road repair. Nearly every municipality in Northwest Indiana has adopted this funding mechanism. If you are re-elected to the council, would you introduce an ordinance to impose the wheel tax on the Michigan City residents?
All right, to impose a wheel tax is something that would definitely take a lot of planning with our city controller's office as well as the other council members to find out exactly what we need in terms of revenues. I do know that the city is starving for revenues, but I don't know for certain right now if we should do a wheel tax because that's something that needs to be studied in regards to our city expenses versus what we have in revenues now. Like I said, I do understand that we do need revenues and we're always searching. I have other ideas in regards to bringing in revenues to the city, but a wheel tax is something that has been mentioned to me, has been brought to my attention, but at this time, I do not have a lot of information about it, and you cannot stand here and make a decision on something that you do not have information about. You would have to have workshops and put some things together in order to explain where it's going to be used, what's going to happen with those dollars, and before you can make a decision to do anything with the wheel tax. So, of course, I'd be open to listen and get the input of the public to find out where we should go in regards to a wheel tax. Thank you.
Thank you, Brent. And next, for Don Prisbalinski, how many TIF districts are there in Michigan City now, and what can they be used for to benefit the neighborhoods?
There are 3 TIF districts in Michigan City. There's a north, a south, which have been combined, and there's an eastern TIF district. And with those monies that are collected in those areas, they're used for improvements that those specific TIF areas are drawn out to be. If it's a 2 square mile area, then those TIF dollars stay in that 2 square mile area for road improvements, for sewer improvements, for park improvements, I believe. And there's also state legislature laws that you can use the TIF money for. But yeah, but the money stays in that TIF district, in that area for improvements.
Thank you. Next question is for Elizabeth Bergeron. What role would you take as council member to bring back quality employers we once enjoyed, like Pullman Standard, J-Mar Ruby, Joy Manufacturing, Ingersoll Rand, ALCO windshield wipers, and Burnham Glove and Sprague Devices?
That's a really good question. In my position, I'm able to drive. I work also in Porter County and Lake County serving families, and I see the growth and development that's happening, it seems, everywhere but here. The first thing we need to do is give ourselves more of an identity and make ourselves more attractive to investors. I would want to see general beautification, make our city look like we are proud. We have areas where they're overgrown and they're forgotten, so it seems. I want to make sure that every area of Michigan City, every ward is served and represented and bettered. I am a resident of the 6th Ward, and Mr. Gray's right. A lot of times we feel forgotten. We don't have sidewalks. We have potholes in our roads. We need to clean up our city. We need to develop an identity, and then we need to show our surrounding areas just how awesome we are and what we have to offer, and promote and recruit tradespeople and real jobs that pay real wages. I think once we show the rest of Indiana who we are and all that we have to offer, we'll be the envy of the state.
Thank you. And next for Ian Osborne. Do you advocate tax increases or the creation of new revenue to balance budgets? If not, what city departments, programs, services would you consider cutting?
I have a couple of really great ideas on how we can free up a whole bunch of money. I think one really good thing is the city has an extensive collection of real estate. They accumulate each year from the tax rolls. A lot of these sit vacant. These are commercial properties, vacant lots, homes. If we were to simply take these homes and get them back onto the tax rolls, fix them up or find ways to get people into them, that would start bringing us a lot of tax revenues. Would I increase taxes? Definitely not. I think that one of the things that we can do is to just find other creative ways to get funds, like some of the grants that we're talking about. We know there's a lot of funding available for different types of projects, particularly that we're not accessing. So I think the most important thing to do would be to utilize the money that we have now more responsibly.
Okay, thank you. Next is Jason Stratton. And if elected, what would you do to bring back long-cherished events of the past, such as the Miss Indiana pageant, DCI Drum and Vehicle Corps show, Michigan City and Water Boat show, and Scamania Mania?
I believe we as Michigan City have an image which is grounded in the past, present, as well as the future, and there is a lot of history in Michigan City, and that encompasses aesthetic factors as well as cultural factors, and if we can build on this image, as well as if elected to council, would also look at these as sources of revenue, as has also been mentioned, and with the potential increases in revenue brought by attractions such as these, I would like to see things of this nature become increase the future. Become more self-sustaining. I think that's the word I'm looking for. And so basically, in a nutshell, image and economic sustainability.
Okay, thank you very much. And final question is for Dr. Vidia-Cora. Would you vote for the annexation of any property or approve the tax abatement of a company located in the boundaries of the US 421/I-94 County TIF District?
Can you please repeat that question?
Would you vote for the annexation of any property or approve tax abatement for a company located in the US 421/I-94 TIF District?
You know, when I was on the county commission, I was actually involved in the development of the TIF district. I recognize that as an important economic opportunity for Michigan City, but specifically for annexation, I'll have to look at the particular opportunity and see what are the pros and cons. Annexation can also be very divisive, and so we need to look at that. Are there ways we can do it without annexing and get the economic opportunities that we want to? But bottom line is we have to attract more businesses, and each specific situation we need to sit down and look at what is the best way of attracting new business and creating more jobs and economic opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we will continue with the closing statement, 1-minute statement from each of the candidates. And we will begin this time with Jason Stratton.
One of the things that attracted me to Michigan City, not only to live here, but also as a contractor and real estate investor, was the charm and character of this town, as well as I originally came from Illinois. And one of the things I like about Michigan City, actually Indiana in general, is low taxes, and that's something I would like to, in whatever capacity I'm able to as member of the council, I would like to contribute to keeping taxes low and finding creative means of generating revenue. And I have something of a campaign slogan which I've come up with, and it's four phrases basically: small business, personal freedom, transparency, and service.
Thank you. And Mr. Don Przybylski.
I love Michigan City, and I love serving you, the citizens, as your council person at large. The reasons you should re-elect me are a track record of experience, fairness, leadership, and being financially responsible. Most importantly, responding to the citizens with concerns is what I enjoy the most. When I get a call from a citizen with a concern, I work for them so they know that their vote and voice matters. In closing, I am grateful and proud to be endorsed by the LaPorte, Stark, and Pulaski Building and Construction Trades Council, pure union support, and the Michigan City Fire Department Local 475 PAC Committee. Both Don Przybylski, Councilman at Large, and I will always have a continued passion to make our city the best it can be. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Ian Osborne, please.
I probably should have wrote this down too, but when I decided to run for city council at large, my primary motivation was really to have the opportunity to sit right here and share something with you all. And if I could say the one thing, if I had the opportunity to sit here and say before Michigan City, what are our biggest issues? What is the thing that's most concerning to Michigan City? And I think it's really the little things, simply the little things. There are so many ideas for great developments and economic development this and high-rise that, and really just telling people about the money that exists in our community, the Urban Enterprise Association funds, the revolving loan fund. How many of you know about the money that's actually available to you, that's been exclusively given to very specific people and hidden from the rest? Unintentionally maybe, or perhaps not.
Thank you. And Dr. Cora.
I really believe that Michigan City is on the cusp of great development. I want to make sure that we realize the full potential of the opportunities that are coming our way. And I also want to make sure that the children who are growing up here can find opportunities to stay here. And we need to keep young people here, attract young people here. That way we have a growth as well as long-term future. So I believe that because of my experience, my commitment to consensus building, and my vision for the future of our city, I believe that I have the qualifications to serve on the city council at large, and I'm asking for your support and vote in the upcoming election. Let's work together and make Michigan City the best it can be. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. And Bryant Daphne.
Please don't start the clock until I start talking, because I know 1 minute's going to be short for me. First things first, here you go. I want to be a part of creating an atmosphere in Michigan City where people want to come here and live, where our high school graduates, our college graduates want to come back to Michigan City and make this their place of residence. I want to make sure that we tackle the gun violence that's happening here in Michigan City by getting a fully staffed police department and then implementing our flock camera system. I want to continue moving forward with the vibrant Michigan City plan provided by the Economic Development Commission. And one thing that I really want to see happen is development that you see coming all over Michigan City. I want to see that extended into the east side. We already have a district that's going to stretch down Michigan Boulevard that will give us some of the same tools that you have the TIF districts on the south and the north in order to bring some development to that side of town. That will be a happy day. With all that being said, when those tax dollars do come in, I want to see us use some of those dollars to provide affordable housing programs like down payment assistance, providing recreational activities for our children, and then cleaning up our city. I truly believe that my track record and my voting record makes me one of the most qualified to do this job here for Michigan City. And I hope for your vote on November 7th. Thank you.
Thank you. And Elizabeth Bergeron.
Thank you. Thank you for having the forum. I'm running because I know who is my boss on council, and that's Michigan City residents. I want to make our city better. I want my kids to want to live here and have the same opportunities that kids throughout the state have. I want to make sure we have safe bus stops where I don't see people standing in the middle of the road in the winter waiting for the bus, and to make sure the bus gets to everyone. We pay for it with our taxes. It should serve the entire city. I want to make sure that my kids, my grandkids, visitors have sidewalks to walk down, so again, I don't see mothers pushing strollers down the middle of the street and kids riding their bikes in the street. That's what makes us safer. I want to work with organizations like Paladin to make them grow, like Porter County and Valparaiso did with Opportunity Enterprises, where we can serve not just the disabled but the elderly, because our city needs that. I am the only candidate that has worked with million-dollar budgets across various industries, as well as understands and knows the prison, what's required to move it to keep us all safe when we move over 2,000 inmates, and how that land is and its condition so it can be moved and we can use that land. I ask for your vote on November.
Thank you. And I want to ask for you to give a big hand now to all of the candidates. This concludes the candidate forum here in Michigan City for this year, and we thank you all for coming. On behalf of the League of Women Voters membership and board, thank you for coming. And remember to vote. It's the way you make your voice heard. Thank you. Good night.
Yes.